welcome to the Daily Atheist Morning Show. It is Tuesday, the 27th of October, 2020. I am your host, the amazing Super Chris. We are wait. I got that Andy guy. That Andy guy is here. Andy Hall from the Laughing and Disbelief blog over at Pathos and at Laugh Purgatory on Twitter is here. My co-host, he's going to join me today. Nokasuchi was up late, slaying Christians overnight on the chats and the Twitters and the videos, so he's not going to join us this morning. I don't think. He might pop in, but if he does, then we will. Well, we're going to talk about the election. 7 days to doomsday, right after this. Today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts a nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libtards would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
Well done too on adding
right.
to
that was a new commercial from us for the one of our funny commercials that me and Andy come up with together. Andy, what were you saying?
I was saying Chris did you being Chris did an excellent job amping the original script, and you were able to add some nooks and crannies to it that hold all the funny. So that was job well done, sir. Job well done.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I enjoyed doing it. It's a lot of fun. Andy and I, we got this little system going. I hope you guys can hear us all. I've been having some volume level problems, so let me know if you're having trouble hearing everything. Andy and I, we work these commercials together, and I really enjoy doing it. They're a lot of fun. He'll send me a script. I'll go over it, and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's good. And then I'll work it a little bit, and I'll send something to him, and if he likes it, he can, change it or not, or tell me whatever, and we'll work it together, and that's what you guys get. Whatever you just saw, that's what you get.
That's what you get. Yeah.
That's good. I enjoyed it.
But you know what would be wonderful if you went over to my YouTube channel and hit a like on it and maybe even share it, because that ad is on my YouTube channel, Laughing in Disbelief. So see, that's a cheap plug.
Cheap. That's right. Cheap. I want to say though, unfortunately, it seems there's a lot of people in this world who don't know what the meaning of fascism is. And so that was one of the reasons why Andy made that, is so we can, just kind of go here. This is fascism. So, there you go. The definition of fascism.
If I'm not making people laugh and subverting, my mic is pretty hot this morning. Is it really, huh?
Yeah. Just kind of slide it back away from you a little bit. Is all.
Why don't people tell me I'm hot, Chris, as against to my mic? Why does my mic get all the love and not me, Andy Hall? That's what I'm sad about.
No say. I don't know.
Yeah. So fascism.
I moved my chat to a different place. Now I got to look up here. People are talking at me. Hello, Chris and Andy. Hello, Willie Igner. Oh, I got to say hi to the damn nation. Good morning, everybody in the chat. Hello, Critical Cripple. Woof. Good morning, woof. I don't like it being up here. I like it being down here where I don't like it. It feels all funny. Okay, so there we go. Back and back. Good morning, Critical Cripple, Lady Starfire. You know what? It snowed here. Snow, blizzard. Blizzard, a zerd of the blizz kind. That's what we had right here. And I was like, wow, look at that. Anyway, if the dogs pee inside today, I understand why. I don't blame them.
How much snow did you get?
I don't know. It's like this much. It's like
You don't know.
Wait,
You don't
like,
know. You don't know.
I know.
All right.
I went outside. I looked to the left, and there was snow. I looked to the right, and there was snow. There's a lot of snow. Anyway, so good morning, Yo Natural Atheist. Streamlabs has managed to show up a little early, even for Streamlabs this morning. Surprise, surprise. Wooly Ignorant, all you wonderful people. KCA, Randy, thank you all for joining us this morning. And let's see. To the people on Facebook, thank you for joining us. I'm going to put links over there. So if you're watching on Facebook and you want to pop over to YouTube and join us in the chat, feel free to do that. And also to the people who listen on the Daily Atheist Morning Show podcast live. Good morning, everybody. So, thank you very much. Okay, so Andy, what's going on, brother man?
Well, I've been losing sleep about Pennsylvania. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. Because Pennsylvania seems to be the fulcrum state for this election. Sure, Biden is up by something like 5 points or so in Pennsylvania. But we remember 2016 where Clinton was up by a lot of points. Man, there was just errors in the polling and people made last-minute decisions. And so even though I think the number is over 50 million people have already voted in the United States of America, and it's unlikely that even if people do make a radical change and switch over to Trump at the very last minute, all those votes are already in. So there shouldn't be a big change. The polls should have it right. But still, 5 points, that's still uncomfortably close for me, at least.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've got the what is it? The rig is in, the jig is in, the jig is up.
The fix,
something.
The fix is in.
The fix. Thank you, Andy.
Right.
Thank you. The fix is up. The fix is in. They've got the fix on. They're doing everything they can. Those 5 points might look good now.
Yeah.
Mais non, which is French for but no.
Right. And people can read the 538 article in about, is Joe Biden toast if he loses Pennsylvania? No, but. No. There's no but there, no but. It's no, comma, but, ... Right. So he's up ahead by 5.1 points. In 2016, Clinton was up by 4.4 points. And we all know what happened in 2016. So, Pennsylvania, something to watch, which we will watch on our streaming show.
We will
next
be
Tuesday.
Right. I'll probably be rebuilding the show. Y'all notice we have a Halloween vibe going on this morning. I don't know if you've noticed it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and completely rebuild the show probably for next week. And then we'll go ahead and that way we'll be able to host probably 5 or 6 people. We won't be worried about the chat so much. And I want to get it to where we can host 5 or 6 people and have people around the edge. And in the center where my image is right now, we can have, say, 538's up or CNN up or MSNBC up and commentating on what's going on throughout the day. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We should switch over. I don't know how complicated things are because I'm the non-technical. People might be surprised at this analysis, but I'm the non-technical person out of our dyad. So I'm like, it'd be great if we could switch over, bounce around, and make fun of Fox News people as well as, go over to legitimate news sources. But I don't know how difficult that would be in terms of the technical gremlins and stuff.
I got it. That. Oh, yeah, no problem. Well, I mean, really what I'll do is I'll have a screen up over here and I'll have a Chrome up on it. And I can have ABC in one tab, CBS in another tab, Fox, whatever. And whenever we want to go to one of those, I'll just pop open the tab and unmute the audio. I mean, I've got very fast internet. Won't be a problem. So
that's good.
Looking
good
forward to that. Good morning, Trina DeLuca. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Yes, here we are. So I'm looking forward to that. We're doing the vote. If you're going to make it for next week's show, let us know. Me and Andy, we got plans, evil plans of doom and despair. And if you got time, Andy, between today and tomorrow, like we were talking before, we should schedule some time to work on guests.
Well, you might be surprised, but I'm unemployed at this point, Chris. The only thing I do now is work in the internet mines and in the comedy factory. So I've got more than sufficient time. I've actually started asking people already. I talked to John Hamill and Seamus from Free Thought Profit, and one or two, both of them may be popping in during our marathon stream. So
awesome. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I want to therefore find out how many people we can get together and do stuff. I'm sure we'll have quite a few people watching. I bet that's going to be a fantastic.
I think my main goal is to really modulate how much I drink during this entire major stream that we do.
Understood.
Yeah, managing the stream, maybe the Chinese food that I'll be ordering, or whatever I nosh on. Yeah, I think there will be a management of the chemicals of the food as well as the intoxicants too. So
it's a good point. I don't know what we're going to be doing. It's a Tuesday. Just another day. The wife won't even be here. I'm sure she has to work that day. It'll just be.
Well, she's going to have to take care of all those bullet wounds from the election. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, we've never had this problem before. The far right gets power, and look what they do. We've never had our peaceful transition.
I just want to say that white people haven't had this problem before. I'm pretty sure black people and brown-skinned people have had potential violence while voting in the past. It's now, right? So there's the joke. It's like, a variety of black comedians have made it before. It's from Richard Pryor to Chappelle, whoever, is that it only becomes a problem when us white people have it. And now it's a problem.
Well, I get that. I get where you're going with that. I was thinking like bigger picture, but I get you. Yeah, as people go to the polls, we had here in Albuquerque. I saw an article on the. There's a local newspaper that was running an article about oppression at one of the polls on the south side of our town.
Oh, really?
People being turned away by Trumpers with guns.
Trumpers with guns. That's
I'll have to look up the article, but some thing here happened. It was strange.
Yeah. Well, I did vote yesterday. I mailed in my mail-in ballot because I guess that's what you do with mail-in ballots, or you can do it. And I put it into the ballot box as against to the mailbox. We have a separate box dedicated ballot box right down the street from us, and so we went down there, took our requisite selfies with our ballots, and did the act. So,
gotcha. Good man.
Yep.
Good deal. I am watching our chat here. Looks like we got a troll every day comes in.
The bigger the show gets, the more trolls we're going to have. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, and I got to be honest, it really doesn't affect anything. It doesn't. Our people get them, bump, they're out. I don't. Since we don't have the chat on the screen. Thank you, Streamlabs, for sketching and not putting a chat. But since we don't have the chat literally on the screen, it doesn't matter. They ain't hurting. My people bouncing, they're wasting their own damn time. So,
sure.
Yeah. So what I was talking about, I understand what you're talking about people, we are finally having to live with the notion of being violence at the polls. But what I was talking about was the overall bigger picture. Whenever the election came last time, there was no talk of Obama refusing to step out of office. There was no talk about that.
This is true.
There was... there might have been one or two little conspiracy theories talking about it, but there was no serious... there has been serious debate and discussion. Trump himself has come out and said he doesn't know if he's going to step away peacefully.
Yeah.
Right from the beginning.
Well,
beginning.
What is horrible about this 4 years of Trump, or one of the many things that are horrible, is that we've all become amateur psychologists for the president of the United States of America, i.e. Donald Trump. It all becomes like, so what do you think he's going to do? What do you think's rolling around in that little scroll of a brain he has? A head that's full of a sack of angry wet squirrels. We all become armchair psychologists. For me, my analysis, I think, as I've said before, I think the guy... he has a glass jaw in a sense, and that he'll huff and he'll puff, but Biden will just walk into the White House for all intents and purposes.
I hope so.
Yeah, so do I.
He's doing things. He's gonna contest things. He's working to contest and make things as hard as possible. But man, the turnout has been fantastic so far. Absolutely fantastic. And whenever it's a good turnout, that's bad for conservatives. Why is that?
It is true. It is true. That's because they can't win presidential elections. They vote. Yeah. I've heard that the likely amount of voters can be upward to 160 million. I think that's the top. A more realistic number is going to be like 150, maybe 154 million people voting in this election cycle. So that's pretty cool.
How many voted in the last one, was it?
Oh, less?
I think it was like 120 something.
Yeah, significantly less because people just weren't, there's a saying that I heard on, and many people have said that, is that, Donald Trump is unpopular. He was relatively unpopular in 2016, but the thing is, he was running against someone who was even more unpopular than he was. So that's why there was low voter turnout. That's why Trump won.
Right.
Now you can argue why Hillary Clinton was unpopular. I mean, definitely the Republican hate machine had worked on her for decades. And there are times that she did not help her own cause. I think that's a very generous analysis on my part.
But accurate. I think that's accurate.
I think so.
She did things that made it worse. She was not the best pick, in fact, to run. I know they think she was. The DNC thinks she was the best pick, obviously, but she was not the best pick to run against Donald Trump. Biden back then would have been better. Just because he didn't have all the decades of
you can tell that there was some kind of deal made between the Clinton camp and the Obama camp and the DNC saying that she was going to cause trouble, she would get a place in the administration, and she'd be the next in line, and Biden would just, because everyone knows what a crappy candidate Joe Biden is. I mean, we don't want that guy running for president because Hillary Clinton would do such a better job.
Oh, right. I don't know. I think she probably would have. I don't know which one of them two would have done a better job. I think it's of course, it's as much a matter of their cabinet as it is them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, either one of them, I could go out in my backyard and do poopy patrol and come back in with the bucket, and the contents of the bucket could be a better president than the president we have now. And the cabinet that contents of the bucket installed probably flies would also
good analogy.
Be better
I like
than
that.
What we've got now. Yeah,
I like the analogy there. Flies on the poop. Yeah,
I'm colorful. I'm colorful.
Well, that's a word for it, Chris. That is a word for it.
That's right. I'm a poet. I'm like a Renaissance man.
No. Oh, well, okay. We'll go with that. We'll go with that.
And if somebody else calls me Renee, I'm gonna kick their ass. Anyway. So, good morning, Ian Davenport, Nerdy Rodent, Jess M. Thank you all for joining us. Epileptic Skeptic, thank you. I hope you guys are having a good week so far. We're halfway to hump day.
We are.
Hump day.
We are.
Halfway to hump day, yes.
And hello, Brainbug. Brainbug's here.
Brian is here. Awesome. Brian the Brainbug. Guys, if you're not subscribed to Brian the Brainbug, his channel, very interesting stuff. He's into bugs, as you might imagine. You might go ahead, Brian. Drop us a link, brother. Bully Ignorant, I made you an admin, so you can post links now. Sorry,
I don't know if I mentioned this yesterday. I was listening to I think it was the 5:30 podcast, or it might have been Fareed Zachariah, and I heard the information that there's a greater chance for Biden to flip Texas blue than Trump to win the presidential election. Or at least the popular vote at the very least. That's how low a chance Trump has of winning the popular vote.
I could see that. If they ever catch Andy wandering out in the street like dazed and disoriented, and looking around, maybe not wearing any clothes or something, 538 has probably gone down. And they're just down for a little while, and just set him down, get him some coffee, and as soon as 5:30 comes back up, he'll be okay.
Well, it's all about. And I heard this before. I used to get out of work at 9:00 in the morning, and I would drive home. It would be about a 20-minute drive, and I'd listen to Bloomberg radio, just because of the fact that business radio, people actually have to tell you closer things to the truth because there's math involved and money is on the line. And one of the commentators said that the real problem in today's world is trying to find the signal through all the noise that we have through all the information to find out what the through line is or what the salient piece of information is. And so, so when I talk about where I get my information, I like to cite my sources. Like, for an example, just now, Bloomberg Radio, 538, The Economist. Well, I can't read The Economist anymore now because the bookstore, I would go into the bookstore and read it for free. And I'm not going into a bookstore during the cooties, Chris. I'm not going in so I can casually.
Why not?
I'm not going. No, everything is outside. Yeah. I am, with the way how the COVID-19 is raging. OMFG, I can't believe I haven't told you this, right? So I'm just hanging out with my kid, my girlfriend, getting dinner ready, and all of a sudden there's this loud blaring on the cell phones. The emergency freaking signals going off. And I'm thinking, wow, what's going on? And it was an emergency signal about COVID-19 in the Boston area. They're like, put on your freaking masks. It's crazy out there. Boston, I guess, was doing a hybrid model of education. They just shut all that down. Everything's now distance education. And it's basically, we got the emergency signal of, you might die, bro. Look out.
Do they do that in a Boston accent, or do they do it in just like a random?
I wish it would. I wish they would have Bill Burr, the comedian from the Boston area, just do that, because he hosted Saturday Night Live a couple of weeks ago, and the man is hilarious. Definitely not politically correct, but hilarious, and it would be funny to hear it in his voice.
Gotcha. That would be, just with the accent and all. Good morning, Flow State. Neil, my very good friend Neil, the 604 Atheist, is in the chat this morning. Neil, sorry, I bounced on your show last night. It was getting late for the amazing Super Chris. Had to go get me some beauty sleep. It requires a lot of beauty sleep to get this beautiful.
Maybe you should think coma.
Way ahead of you there.
Yes.
As dumb as I look, I would be in a coma if I were. Anyway, so good morning, Neil. Thank you for having me last night. That was fun. I enjoyed it. For the brief time I was there. Hope it went on and you guys had a good time.
Were you in the after party, Chris?
Yeah, I was in the after party. I got invited to the after party, but I missed the first part of the show, right? So I had no idea who Christian Armstrong, I think, was. No idea who the guy was.
No, yeah.
So I just sat there and I was like, tried to say something funny every now and then. Look cute. But other than that, I was fairly useless. Yeah.
Well, knowing is you got to know. Right. Knowing is the first step. That's what they say.
Right. So I'm actually hoping. So let me see. All right. So you do believe. Oh, wait. I want to say thank you to Daniel Bennett for the $1 of support to the channel. So thank you, Daniel. If any of you guys are my regular hosts or co-hosts or have a link to the show and you want to join us, pop in. Nokasuchi's out this morning, so we got some room if you want to pop in and join us and say hi. So,
well, I'd like that.
That goes to Daniel or Neil or whomever, Yeah. Watch your filthy mouth, Neil. Watch your filth. Me and the wife. You missed a show, Neil. Yesterday, was it yesterday or the day before? It was really funny. We had some jokes about you and cussing at the end of the show. It was a lot of fun. I was funny. I was hilarious because I'm the funny one. Anyway.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he's like, screw you, jackass. See?
Excuse me.
Trump tweet, until November 4th, fake news media is going full on COVID. We are rounding the turn 99%. Thank you for that. Critical Cripple Dave posted that. Obviously these are words I just read out of the chat, so I haven't gone and looked at it, but I believe it, right? It's completely within the bounds of what Trump would say. I mean, the punctuation is probably better than he would say. So anyway, but Andy has said this quite a lot, and that's it every time COVID becomes a topic. Every time COVID comes up, Trump goes down. Like popularity, the word of COVID goes up.
Yeah.
And apparently Trump probably knows this too.
Oh, sure.
But Trump has been spreading this notion that they have saved over 2 million lives, and there's some reasoning behind that is very, very flawed.
Yeah.
But rather than going around, for those of you who I don't know if you know this or not. He doesn't go around going, "Oh, woe is me. We've lost 200,000 people. Sad Trump, sad Trump." No. In his mind, what has happened is, yes, we've lost 200,000, but by his actions, we have saved over 2 million lives. Now, I can't really explain to you the reasoning behind that. You're going to have to just go find that out.
I'm about to do a nuanced argument, and it's going to get people angry who don't understand what a nuanced argument is. I would say the emotional tone that Biden is emitting would be a primary cause for him to lose an election if it was anything else but COVID. The nice guy, the kind, the empathetic person, and Trump's the strength without brains, which seems to be, no matter how different Trump is, the GOP brand does seem to be strength without brains, and Trump has that everywhere. And so if it wasn't for COVID, if Biden was playing the vote for me, I'm the one who cares for you, Americans don't want a president who cares for them as much as a person who is strong. By and large, over time, that's how we vote. And you just have to look at how the presidential elections have worked within our lifetime to show that.
I'm putting that on a shirt. Yeah. GOP logo, strength without brains. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. I stole it.
Go ahead. It's up there. It's out there in the, I will say, I was reading through this BBC article just now. I just took a COVID antibodies, quote, fall rapidly after election. Listen to me. After infection. Maybe the election is the infection, Chris. I don't know. But they had somebody from a researcher saying, quote, immunity is waning quite rapidly. We're only 3 months after our first round of tests, and we're already showing a 26% decline in antibodies, said Professor Helen Ward, one of the researchers. So 3 months in, you're at a 26, your antibodies from getting COVID-19 down by over a quarter. That is worrying. That's what that is. That is reason for concern.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So this whole herd immunity thing, no,
not going to work.
Cannot happen.
Well, let me do this. Yeah, the herd immunity thing, they totally, absolutely debunkalated that.
Yeah.
Completely. Apparently, let me do some finding here. I got to.
You do some finding.
Yes.
Let me do some coughing.
Are you just go ahead and choke there on your drink?
I will. I'll just choke right.
While you're at it.
Well, apparently, This 0% milk that I'm drinking right now is, I just can't handle my high interest milk. That's what I can't handle. See, that's a callback.
You're doing high interest milk. That was wonderful. I think for those people, more people here, that was just a really good article. I'm going to run that commercial again here at the midpoint through the show. Our fascist commercial. For those people who weren't here at the beginning of the show, we made a new commercial, Andy and I. And don't knock it till you've tried it. Well, I've tried it, my friend.
In case you missed the fascism from the beginning of the show, don't worry. We got some fascism for you later on the show too.
True enough. Yes. Well, here we go. And a one. And today's world is confusing, and there's too much information for one person to make sense of it all. Which credit card should I pay off first? Is non-fat milk good for me? Who should I vote for? Let's face it, if you can't figure out high-interest milk, then how can you be expected to make political decisions that influence a country of over 325 million people? Well, that's why there's fascism. Fascism is the political, social, and economic system for today's world. The Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines fascism as a political philosophy, movement, or regime that exalts nation, and often race, above the individual, and that stands for a centralized autocratic government headed by a dictatorial leader, severe economic and social regimentation, and forcible suppression of the opposition. Choose this ideology and life will be easy. Did you ever look at someone who uses really big words and think, I wish those libtards would just disappear? Well, under fascism, your dreams can come true. Under fascism, you won't have to worry about the pesky little things like brown people or atheists, or who in your country is entitled to basic human rights and who is not. Hint, hint, the answer is nobody. Yes, friends, this truly is the final solution you've been looking for. And if you're concerned if this form of authoritarianism will be up to your high standards, don't worry. American fascism will be the best fascism in the world because it's been endorsed by Jesus. So go out and destroy freedom and democracy by getting fascism today. Paid for by the Fascio-Conservative Party, formerly known as the GOP.
So that looks great.
There we go. Yeah, for those of you who didn't see that earlier, what do you think of that? Me and Andy, we did it together, alone and scared. I was there. He was here. Wait, he was there. I was there. Anyway, we did it, and it was wonderful. I really enjoyed it. We'll do some more of those. We probably need to. Yeah, we'll do more of those. That was fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it. We should do a poll on that, by the way. To catch y'all up, for those of you who missed it earlier, we're going to be doing a show next week during the election. 1 week from today, we're doing a 7-day countdown to the end of the world. That's right. Fingers and toes.
It's actually a 7-day countdown to another countdown, which we really have no idea what the numbers involved are.
That's
to when
true.
Everything is going to be resolved. So this is kind of like the countdown to the end of the world.
That's true.
Maybe a countdown for the world too, but we really don't know what is beyond that what goes on after that 7-day period. So even though this could be terrifying, don't worry.
Right.
There could be more.
Right. Oh, that's true. That's all right. So this 7 days counts us down to the end, and then what will be that is the end of the beginning.
It's the end of our beginnings.
To the beginning of the end.
Wow, that sounds dramatic.
The beginning.
That sounds dramatic.
Yes. This is the beginning of the end. And who'd have thought we'd be where we are? Again, that's where we're talking about where we were before. Whenever Bush left office, or Bush or any of the conservatives in the history left office, there was never this. No, but the Conservative Party was taken over by the Tea Party. Mm-hmm. As I've said before, they corrupted the Conservative Party. Now the Conservative Party refuses to give up power. Period. And we're going to see it over the next few days. They're going to continue to fight this election. When the election happens, they're going to either contest and or deny. And it's just going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I was wrong once.
You were wrong once? Do you remember when that was?
It's a long time ago.
Oh, well, good.
I was probably naked.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a problem that you and your wife should talk to your therapist about, to tell you the truth.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we're going. That's what is what we've been talking about, is that over the past few months, I have been predicting that Trump would be arresting his political opponents.
Yeah.
He's been threatening it for weeks now.
Well, if he could, he would, but he can't.
If he could, he would.
If he could, he would.
I don't know, though. He's going to try something. Things are going to get very, very interesting over these next few days.
Well, just because he's not doing it before the election doesn't mean he might try to do it after the election. Or, you don't know what kind of tricks might be up the sleeve.
Oh, no doubt. Well, that's what yesterday was all about, right? That's what confirming this far right-wing nutbag woman to the Supreme Court is all about. That way, whenever he contests everything, they assume the Supreme Court is just going to give it all to them. I'm hoping that some of the Supreme Court people are actually, the right-wing judges who were put in the past. I'm hoping some of those guys are actually good, upstanding, conservative individuals and will vote no against Trump whenever he tries to take the election and steal it. Even though he thinks that because it's a conservative Supreme Court, they're going to give it to him. That's not necessarily the case.
It's an interesting idea, is that just because the court is conservative does not necessarily means it's fascist.
Right. Thank you. John Roberts has voted several times contrary to the other conservatives, or the way the conservatives would have thought that he was going to, right? If I remember correctly.
This is true.
So,
being that he is top dog on the Supreme Court too, he has a lot of say on what cases the court gets to hear too. So it isn't just how the court rules. Sometimes the court rules by not hearing a case at all.
Right. W. Zukon asks, good morning, W. Zukon asks, why do you think Bill Barr is not following Trump's instructions this time to arrest the Dems? I think there's legal reasons, but Trump is trying to get him to do things that he just can't do. He could, but that's the whole thing. Throughout this entire election, or this whole entire 4 years, Trump, they're like, he can't do that. And he goes and does it. And they're like, he's like, what are you going to do? And they're like, oh, well, we're going to do nothing. And then they're like, oh, no, he's not going to do that. And he does it. And they're like, what are you going to do? And they don't, nothing. So what would they do if Barr arrested Biden? What's to stop him?
I think.
Go, Andy.
Well, one, I want to point out that, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that politics trumps, and I'm sorry for the crappy pun, the law, oftentimes in this day and age. So that means that what people can get away with is secondary to what the law allows. So,
right.
That being said, why does Bill Barr not arrest people that Trump wants him to? People will do things if they think they can gain from them. People won't do things if they think they're going to go to jail or get into trouble for them. So it's one thing to arrest someone illegally or to hold someone illegally if the boss is going to be in power in another 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, indefinitely, right? It's another thing if you arrest someone or hold someone illegally and then your boss, i.e. your protector, is out of office in 6 months or in 3 months. There's not a big incentive to actually do what he says, what the leader says at that point. So I think Bill Barr is just acting out of enlightened self-interest, is the fact that the writing's on the wall, that Trump is going to lose the election. So if Bill Barr goes about arresting people right here and now, then he's going to be in a lot of trouble in February or in March, when the Democrats have the House, probably have a majority in the Senate, as well as the presidency. Yeah, he's probably in trouble now, to tell you the truth. But
oh yeah,
he, arresting the nominee of the opposition, that's just a whole different ball game right there. That's a whole different level of crazy.
Yeah, but I mean.
And here's the thing too.
We've seen them do that though. We've seen them just use Bill Barr's power to ramshot through things and just do everything they want, anything they want. Yeah. Kill investigations, investigate people who didn't need to be investigated.
Well, this just shows you the basic weakness of Trump as a leader. Like when you look at, and I'm gonna make this historical comparisons. When you look at Mao, when you look at Stalin, when you look at Hitler, these guys all ran with the same clique for decades. And so these people had a lot of folks around them who were personally loyal to them to a level of fanaticism. And Trump does not have that. He not in the same way that the aforementioned leaders did. So that's a problem for Trump too. He's a guy who knows psychologically that loyalty is important, but he is not someone who engenders loyalty or doesn't have the history of having a crew of people around him for decades fighting. So that's a problem. Yeah, your mic is still really hot, huh?
Yeah. Well, we kind of knew that. I sorry guys about the mic thing. I knew his mic was an issue, and I knew I was probably I adjusted, but we'll tinker with that mostly after the show. We were trying to get through as best we could between now and Andy. Quit your mic, dude.
Quit effing with my mic. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
You ain't gotta suck on it. Just kind of back away. No,
I am backed away. I am.
No, it's funny. If Nokasuchi were here, he'd be like this up on his microphone. Hiding his face. That's funny.
Right.
And I tease you. I've been trying to sit further away from mine to keep it out of the view and all that stuff, but I guess I need to slide up. I don't know. Good morning, Sassy Heathen. Thank you for joining us this morning. Ian Davenport too, buddy. Nice to have you. Yes. So these are the things. Now, for those of you who don't know, we're running a poll right now. As to who are you going to watch the debate next Tuesday, or the election. We're going to stream the election next Tuesday. Me and Andy and I, we thus are going to do it. Are you going to watch it with us? 4:00 Eastern time next week. Go do that voodoo that you do so well. We've got 10 votes so far. Out of 30-ish people. So, folks, lie to me. Let us know if you're going to make... Oh, did you vote, Andy? I'm going to vote because I'm a voter. Vote. I think I did vote already.
You know, I've been doing this show. I don't even know how long I've been doing this show for. So, Chris, tell me as if I was a 5-year-old. How do I vote? Tell me how to vote.
What you do is you type exclamation point and then the word vote.
Okay. I know what the exclamation point is, and now I'm going to type in vote.
And then a space.
It's space.
And then your answer, either yes, no, or maybe, are the answers. Yeah, it's either hell yes.
It's a tough one. Now,
I'll be washing my hair that night, or maybe if you're lucky. Those are.
Now, tell me this: if I'm going to be actually co-hosting the show, does that mean my vote's a little squirreless? You know, a little squirrely.
It is. No, we're just trying to skew the vote.
I don't think it's so this is mathematically skewing the all right.
It's like stroking my ego. There's going to be more people here than are really going to be here.
I'm not stroking anything of yours, sir, but I am hitting yes.
You say that in front of everybody.
I'm just letting people know how things roll.
Good morning, Phil Lister. Thank you for joining us. So that's what we've got going on. We're going to do that. It's going to be me and Andy. We're going to, it's going to be probably 8 hours at least on the stream. So we'll be bouncing. I'll bounce off and go eat with the wife, and Andy will run the show, and I'll come back and, I'll run the show, and Andy will go, and we'll do that thing. We're going to have people come in. Andy's got some guests. So come and join us. It's going to be fun. We're going to be commentating on, we're going to be watching the end of the world, chronicling it right. Here.
Or the beginning of the ending of the world.
Yeah. Yes. The beginning.
Well, maybe.
Of the end. Yes.
Well, you can actually say that maybe this will be the end of the second act. I mean, I don't know. It's difficult to tell as a scriptwriter where we are in the narrative flow of events. Yeah. But we'll play this out. We'll see what happens.
Well, if we're going to use the Aristotle's incline, then I think we're kind of getting near past that midpoint. The midpoint was like Trump's presidency, the first presidency, and then we get to that third, that high point at the third mark of the Aristotle's incline, and that's probably going to be our election. And then the end part, the final scenes, the end chapters, will be doom and gloom and redneck civil war and blah 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 blah. Fun for the whole family, I'm sure.
Brainbug was saying, will there be Muppets? I think we should have someone who has Muppets.
We should have Muppets. There should be
Punch and Judy. A little Punch and Trump, maybe, going on there. Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun. Well, I'm going to completely, as we've mentioned, rework the show. So, what are you guys...
Chris, I'm going to voice my skepticism. If you're going to rework the entire show before the big game, then make sure it works. Because you don't want to be at kickoff. I'm going to keep running this analogy. You don't want to be at kickoff and then having everything. You had a guy with Muppets. Yes, I did have a guy. The girlfriend asked me if I had a guy with Muppets on my old show, the Naked Dino podcast. Yes, there were puppets, and they were pretty cool puppets too. But back to this. Yeah, you want to make sure that the show is actually running tight for for such a long marathon.
Yeah. Yep. Well, one of the things about it is that, especially for something like that, I can adjust it as we go if I need to. But I do want to make sure we've got all those tech gremlins out of the way beforehand. Now, I feel we should stream the channel, stream to at least mine and your channel.
Oh, sure, definitely.
For the election. Yeah. If we can get it technically figured out, people, we will soon in the next week or so, hopefully next day or so, be streaming to Andy's channel on the regular basis, as well as my channel on the regular basis. Nokasuchi's, if he'll let me, because I'd love to run the morning show over on his channel as well, and then what I can do is I can even put like the overlay where all of somebody gives a donation on any channel, it'll pop up on the screen. It'd be really cool, and we can spread our Daily Atheist Morning Show just out really far. I think I can make that work.
Okay.
I can make that work. Yeah, but I gotta do some practicing this week, and we'll do that this week, and then of course that way I'll be able to schedule shows. If we do things right, we'll be able to schedule shows during the week, and we can drop links, and it's all gonna be amazing. You people are gonna be here for the fun. Also, if y'all have any other ideas of what we can do, I'm gonna be changed. I'm tired of Streamlabs giving us grief with its tech gremlins. Our chat is working now.
The chat is working.
It is working on the screen. It finally started working on the screen, but you never know. I'm frustrated with it, so I'm going to power crazed Chris. That's right. So we're going to do the thing at the place with the stuff for the people. Am I right or am I right?
I'd say you're right, Chris. Completely unbiased opinion
of course. I'm going to get rid of the chat, though, for the thing, right? Like I said, I want to get about maybe 6 people for the show. 1 week from today, our 7-day countdown to doomsday. I want to have maybe so that way we can get 5 or 6 people and have.
How did the Sassy Heathen get 13,000 followers on Twitter? Congratulations, Sassy Heathen. Twitter has been one of those social media platforms which I have just not done as well as I think I should. I have like 3,000 followers, but I am envious of your 13,000 followers. Yeah, I do things.
Man, I am pathetic. I am just, oh my goodness. And I've been doing Twitter for años, brother. Años. Let me look here and see. How many Twitter followers do I have? 509 followers.
Right.
Very organic. It's organic.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you can be insanely popular on one social media platform, and no one knows who you are on another social media platform. That's just the way how things are.
Now you're just rubbing salt in the wound, because there is zero platform in which I am doing good. In no platform do I have over 2,000 followers. None. Well, my Facebook page, my Instagram's got like 30 followers. YouTube or Twitter, we just talked. YouTube. I mean, I have been working this like a dog for years, and I am just an abject failure, apparently.
How long have you been doing the channel for? How long have you been doing YouTube
this channel? I guess a year and a half. But I've had my Daily Atheist, or Chris Mallard anyway, Facebook pages and Twitter for 8 years now, 10 years. I didn't start working really any of it till about a year ago.
Right.
Still a failure. Still failing. I tell you, if I were doing Yoga Pant Tron haul videos, I'd have more subscribers.
But you're failing up, Chris. I don't really know what that means.
I'm failing up.
But you're failing up. That's supposedly better. Maybe that's what Donald Trump does. He fails up. He completely obliterates one company, and then he just gets bumped to another higher position.
Yeah. Maybe that's how to do it. I don't know. Well, again, 1 week from today, we're going to have an election.
Interesting. We could send a feed to Twitter, and it could go live on Twitter. That's interesting. That's what Sassy Heathen says. So that's an interesting aspect, is that you could actually go live on Twitter too.
See, as long as I can figure all that out, I'm not against doing that. I can do Restream. I'm prepared to pay for one of those things. I currently use Mobs. I need to, Twitter. I would love the idea of being able to. I actually kind of thought we were streaming Twitter, but I mean, it just sends out a
That's
message.
Good, Chris.
I snorted.
Snort.
It sends out a message going, the thing
indeed.
It says, hey, we're doing a show. I didn't know. I don't think it obviously doesn't live stream the show. We need to figure that out. I need to figure that out so we can get more. Anyway, thank you, Ian Davenport. I appreciate it. Well, we're trying. That's one of the things, man. I mean, I could show you guys my metrics, and we're in the 30s on the daily to watch the show. A month and a half after I started the show, I was in the 30s. It petered off down into the 15s and 20s, then it went back up to the 30s, almost got up to the 40s, and then it went down again, and we need to do more. Now we're in an upswing, and I want to continue that upswing and grow the channel so we can spread my craziness, and me and Andy can grow our social media empire and then take over the world.
Empire. I've always seen my. I like to think of myself as I'm running an insurgency myself, an asymmetrical war against stupidity, religious fanaticism, and stupidity. But that's just me.
Asymmetrical.
Oh, it is an asymmetrical. If you look at my crappy 300-word jokes and blog posts on Pathos, and the amount of time and the amount of people who've actually read them and how they've gone viral, it's been an asymmetrical war, basically. Not completely unsuccessful on my part.
True. Yeah, no, that's good. You got good stuff, and that's what we're doing. Though we're trying to spread our craziness.
Yep.
I'm going to do this right here. We got 10 minutes before the show is over. Andy, do you have anything coming up you want to talk about before we go?
I got things, dude. I always have stuff going on. I just want to touch on 538. See, we're going to talk about 538 again. This article about why Americans don't vote. If you get to take a look at it, they have a lovely graph about who does vote in this country and who does not vote in this country. It turns out white people like to vote. We are the demographic that is most likely to vote. Rich people with money are far more likely to vote. People who are older, people who look like us, Chris, are far more likely to vote. People who have college educations, far more likely to vote. And actually, and Republicans have just a small edge on Democrats and who's most likely to vote. So it's an interesting graph, but there is definitely a social, political aspect on who decides to vote. Yeah.
I wonder if this election is going to change, or I wonder if it's going to skew that number, this election, because of the surge of people of color voting.
Well, yes, it is an interesting question. It's fascinating to see how the mail-in ballots are going to work, about how early voting is going to work. It may skew, because to tell you the truth, if we have just more poor people voting, the election could look a lot different. People of color voting, people who are poor. And once again, it really does, I think, boil down to the DNC about what they do in the off season, about whether or not they are trying to energize people for the midterm elections and building up their farm team locally to keep people engaged and energized, because that's what the Republicans do.
True. The comment going on, I just want to say, Sammy Jenkins about the channel and the Dave and the stream at the same time and all that. There's this thing where a channel, my channel, his channel, all of our channels, there's a lot of us who sprung up at the same time because of the COVID, and we were all sitting at home. A lot of people made channels, and some people's channels overlapped, and that happens. And part of the deal is that there's a lot of us doing it at the same time, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think there's a lot of maliciousness behind those things. And something else, I'm going to use the word billions. There are billions of people on social media. There are plenty of people out there. So, me and Critical Cripple and Chris the Atheist Pastor and Math Pig and all of us can all stream at the same time. And sure, I'll lose some viewers. One of them, it doesn't matter. There's plenty of people out there, plenty of seeing the fish.
And the thing is, it's like comparing apples and oranges. I know our show is very different from other people's show. We do a mixture of mostly politics right now and faith, skepticism, science. But to tell you the truth, the most salient thing going on is the political scene right now.
Right. And the right-wing politicians are using the people of faith to drive their policies and affect the rest of us. So I don't see why covering it is terribly far off the channel's notion.
And I'll have to tell you this, is that I had this Corey Ryan Forrester, who is a comedian, and he works with Trey Crowder, the liberal redneck.
I love Trey Crowder.
Yeah. He's hi all, hello. And Corey Ryan Forrester, an exceptionally smart guy, exceptionally Southern guy, right? He lives right near Chuckabunga in Georgia. And he dropped some words of wisdom. It's like, just because it's not for me doesn't mean I have to poo on it. You see, Chris, I'm trying not to swear, but I don't have to poo
Looking
on
at
it.
you, Neil. Looking at you filthy mouth.
And so,
Sorry.
there are definitely people I don't agree with in the movement, but I don't have to poo on them just because it's not for me.
True enough.
Yeah.
Yes. So you were saying what you had coming up. Do you have something coming up?
I have Caitlin Bailey, who is a high school sex worker for all intents and purposes, coming on the show on Friday. We're going to talk about decriminalizing sex work in this country. It is about pushing the ball forward. There are people. I am old enough to remember that having a black president was a joke. that legalized marijuana was a fantasy, and gay marriage was a bridge too far. And so within our lifetime, we could easily see the decriminalization of sex work. And once again, I want to push the barrier, push the Overton window, and have conversations that might be just a step or two ahead of what everyone else is talking about.
Good
but that's
idea.
me. That's what I like to do.
You're sneaky.
That's what makes me so popular.
All right. Well, I don't have anything going on. I'm going to continue. As y'all noticed, I did a little tinkering with the show. Let me just do this. I did a little tinkering with the show. I'm going to be working on the show, getting ready for the election next week, and you'll see changes as we get through. Other than that, I got nothing going on. I got my schooling. I'm not going to stream. I don't think we have any live streams. If something really crazy comes up, if Biden gets arrested or something of that nature, if shit goes sideways very fast, well, I'll be doing it. But otherwise, just a normal quiet week for me. So.
You know what I got the other day? I'll tell you this because people are talking about their kids in the chat and waiting in buses. I got another email from the school, my kid's high school. My kid is doing strictly distance education, but out of choice. But there are a lot of kids doing hybrid, so they're going into school for a couple of days. I got this email from the school about how there was a positive case within one of the workers, I guess, one of the ancillary workers, not a teacher, not a student, but they're doing contact tracing, and that, hey, they have everything under control. And I was just thinking to myself, how I just smell BS. I just smell BS with the idea that they're going to be able to competently do contact tracing for this person who was like meandering through the school. Who knows who they were exposed to? Right. And it's madness. It is madness. Well done, Andy. Any changes that is making differences for the better. Good. Yeah, So my kid's supposed to go back to school. I don't know if I mentioned this to anyone. My kid's supposed to go back to school on January 4th, like full day in there. And I cannot even at this point. They want to bring my kid back to school during the middle of flu season, during a pandemic. So we're going to play this out and see what happens. I'm trying to develop backup plans. That's what I'm trying to do.
I cannot even. That's well put. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you, Andy, for joining me today. Nakasuchi, Rage, he was in the chat earlier, brother. If you're there, okay today. See you tomorrow, maybe, if you're feeling up to it. So
yeah, definitely.
Thank you to everybody in the damn nation for joining us. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow, and have a good day. Take care.
Be strong.
Thank you for watching the show. A special shout out to my gold level Patreon supporters, Cindy Plaza and Ian Davenport. Thank you, and have a great day.